Hey, this is Dave coming at you from Michigan. Just wanted to do another update. We took today off because it's just windy and snowy today, and we didn't feel like working, and we worked hard the other couple days, so we don't want to work too hard today. But anyways, it's a mud pit out here. It's early March in Michigan, and there's no frost at all in the ground anywhere, and it's making it almost impossible, and as of right now it is impossible to use the machine that I rented. And I went ahead today and rented it for another month, and I'll show you what we ended up deciding to do. I was wanting to get the sheet up there, but you know, just like anybody, sometimes you get ahead of yourself, and we had the machine, yesterday was our last day, and I really wanted to get all the sheathing up there. We have the sheathing delivered, so it's right there. It's 2.5 huge piles, and it's extremely heavy, and we're just not there yet. It's braced and all that, but you know, you can see that there's no sheathing there that would tie those in from racking. We have braces, but once you start putting up that heavy sheathing up there, it's not safe. I don't think we're ready there yet. So anyways, I'll show you what we ended up doing. I decided to get the machine for another month, and then I'll show you what we built. And just for full disclosure, this would not be OSHA approved. Even the rental guy didn't want to hear about it. I have to apologize about the wind too. I'm trying to talk really loud. But here's the basket we built for it, which is just working phenomenal. I'll show you kind of how we built it. We put flat boards down below one piece of plywood, and then we basically framed it where 2x4s run next to the track or next to the fork. And then this one's important because once you build the posts, it gives you side nailing to hold the bottom in, which keeps the bottom from dropping out. And then we put a toe kick that holds the top sheet on that's nailed in here as well. And just from the side view, it's awesome. I mean, I tell you what, this thing, we were rocking it out in the afternoon. It took us about 2 hours to build this. And we went ahead and put a 2x8 on the front and on the back. And this thing is immovable. It's built like a tank. And then I went ahead and put little side pieces here. This works great for a nail trough, tool trough. And it's a game changer, folks, because we had picks, ladders, and I'll show you. Look at this mud. Up here close to the house is not bad, but look at all this mud. It's so bad. We were gonna ladder and pick this. See that fascia board? We got all of that, and we got all the trusses that were dropped down low, all done in like 2 hours. And we'll be able to boom anywhere we want, no problem now, safely, like really high up here. Look. And while I'm talking about these tails, I'll tell you the perfect way to get a perfectly straight fascia board every time. So these tails are close. I mean, when the truss manufacturers, when you look at them, they're pretty close, but you can see there's a couple in and out. That has nothing to do with what we did. This LVL is straight as can be. Oh, and by the way, yeah, we got the posts in. And let me talk about the beam real quick. When you're building decks and you're putting posts in, this is the best way to do it. And this isn't an opinion, folks. This is a fact. When you look up there, you can see that we nailed the two together, the two LVLs, that's 3.5 inches. You want to go 3.5 and notch it. Then you have the piece that rides up. Right now we just have it tacked in, but then you're going to run carriage bolts in there. And then on the back side where the carriage bolt comes through, you can use a Forstner bit and reset it in about 1/2 inch for the washer and the split lock and the nut. And that way, once you fasten it in, you can disc grind. You just chop off the bolt that's sticking out past the wood, and everything's recessed in. Because this eventually, that LVL on the inside of where those posts notch up, that'll all be packed out to make that flush. That way you'll have like it'll appear like it's a thicker beam, but it's not. But anyways, what we do, these are supposed to be 24-inch overhangs. When you get up there and you measure across level, they're like 24 and 1/8. I saw one that was 24 3/4. So the best way to do this is just measure out on the end one and the very end one, measure out 22.5 inches, mark a line. Don't use your speed square to pitch it. At this point in the game, once you mark it and mark it down at the end, you chalk a line on the top, and that line you plumb it with a torpedo level, perfectly plumb, and that's your pitch. because some tails curve up, some tails curve down a little bit, and if you pitch to that, it's just not perfect. You're gonna want to use your torpedo level and level it. And then from the basket, it's real easy once you have that line, and you can go and you can do about 6 at a time in the basket. You just cut it vertically with your circular saw. And then once you do that, you don't even have to worry about your fascia board. You just nail it in tight and it's perfect. It is perfect. This one right here, if you look down it, I don't want to step in the mud, but I'll try to get. After I did this one, look at it. It's a perfectly straight line. It's perfect. 22.5 inch, cut it. 1.5 inch fascia. There's your 24-inch overhang. And then the tails are much higher than the 2x6, so it wouldn't be a bad idea every 4 feet or so, once you have your ledger board, your horizontal ledger board on the house that catches your soffit, it doesn't hurt to every 4 feet bring out a horizontal block to catch that lower part, especially where the seams are. You definitely want to do maybe even 1 block on each side of that tail to tie that seam in really good. Because over time, even after the aluminum wrap, sometimes those can curl and twist. So a fixed block will help that. But anyways, this is pretty much the update. I'm really stoked about the fact, I just had an epiphany. I was driving home from my buddies the other night, and I'm like, you know, I just gotta bite the bullet and just get the machine for another month, build a basket. And what's cool about this basket is we ran a flat board. We ran a flat board. Here's the 2 nails actually, here and here. A 2x4 flat that notches down into the 2x4s that we put in next to the forks. We notched that down 1.5 inches and ran it all the way across. When that fork came in there, it seriously squeezed up. I'm gonna try to get my phone in there. You can see that board right there. It's squeezed in perfect. This thing is locked on here. The original plan was to take a bungee cord or rope and tie this to make it safe. This it won't slide off. There's no way. We don't even feel it's even. And when you're in there, no matter how high up you are, you feel super safe. You have all your tools there, your air hose, your cord, your saw, all your tools in here. You got a shelf here, which works really great. I'm glad that we decided to put a strip of OSB. That way nothing can fall off. And then, like I said, the toe kick acted as a toe kick so tools don't fall off on people's head and you're like, oh gosh, I gotta go back down and get some more tools. And it's one of the biggest things, that's what's holding this OSB down as the fork pressure's coming up on it, because it's nailed into there, and then the post of the railing is nailed into that very bottom piece at the very bottom of it below the forks. So this thing will not fall apart no matter how bad you beat it up. So anyways, I'm really happy about it, because now we were thinking, because we have a pick, we have ladders, but to walk in that mud and set a pickup, no way. Nope. Just keep the machine, and we're gonna have this whole house wrapped up hopefully in like a week, and then at that point, then it's safe. Because see, you'll see over here, see, we still didn't do the plywood strips up there, which luckily it's under 24 inches, so you can basically get 16 feet from every sheet of OSB. But over here, that's the first thing we did. And that's the thing, with the basket, you can do everything. We put the piece of sheathing up, we're able to nail it all in, cut the tails, put the fascia up. I was even joking, if we had the sheets up here, you sheet it, do the drip edge, start shingling right there, but you know, 1 step at a time. But we were able to get this done, Tyvek it, staple it in, get all of this. Now that that sheet is on there and it's nailed to the bottom tops of the wall studs and the heel of the truss up there, those are immovable. Now this is safe to put OSB on. Like, look, you can't put OSB up here. It's just unsafe. That thing would just rack, and you end up in the morgue. You'd end up spending a half a day with the undertaker.